special pleasure for me to be here to welcome you all to this evening reception organized in connection with the presentation of Ethiopia's candidate, Professor Hirut Woldemariam, for the position of AU Commissioner for Education, Science, Technology and Innovation. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Ethiopia has a long history of unwavering commitment towards promoting multilateral engagements in all issues of great regional and global importance. It goes without saying that education, science, technology and innovation are among these issues that are critical to the progress and advancement of our continent. They are indeed critical enablers to ensure the implementation of Agenda 2063 and the Sustainable Development Goals. There is no doubt that in order to address our development challenge, we need to develop appropriate technological policies and strategies that would enable our gaining youth to have access to technology and innovation opportunities in science fields with the aim to supply market entrepreneurs and skilled labor force in digital sectors. We have the conviction that the Commission has a key role to play in helping the implementation of African Continental Free Trade Agreement, thereby strengthening intra-African trade and better integrate the continent into international markets supported by technological innovations. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is in this broad context and spirit of serving our continent that Ethiopia presented Professor Hirut Woldemariam, whose proven leadership qualities, skills, and competence make her an ideal fit to this important position. She has a rich experience in the portfolio as academician, as a scientist, as a leader, as a reformer, and as a member of public diplomacy group. I believe her qualities and experiences so far make her the best fit not only to lead the Commission, but to use it to serve the advancement of our continent. She has spent her life breaking invisible glass ceilings and achieving numerous firsts as a pioneer woman in leadership and holding highest academic rank. She has started leadership with a good track record of achievements at Addis Ababa University, exceeding in the domain of academic leadership in progressively increasing positions of responsibilities from department chair, associate vice president to vice president of Addis Ababa University, Ethiopia's oldest premier higher education institute in Ethiopia. I had known Hirut first when I was a Minister of Education and she was a Vice President of Addis Ababa University, and could witness her being a quick learner, change maker, passionate and dedicated to her goal and able to work under pressure. She has proven being multitasking and succeeding in all platforms, engaged in international research networks and published about 3,000 peer-reviewed articles in international academic journals on a range of subjects. She has become the first woman full professor in the area of humanities and social science at the Addis Ababa University. Congratulations. Then, considering her great performance, we have appointed her to serve as a cabinet member in the government system. She has served in 2 cabinets as a minister in 3 different ministerial portfolios: Minister of Culture and Tourism, Minister of Labor and Social Affairs, Minister of Science and Higher Education. She was actually a founding member of the Ministry of Science and Higher Education, and initiated and implemented important reform programs, and currently serving as Minister Advisor to the Prime Minister responsible for social sector. We are convinced that given her long years of national service in diverse ministerial portfolios and multilateral exposure to the mandate of the Commission, she is best suited to lead this important and prominent organ of the African Union and deliver the results we all are expecting from the post. We are indeed confident that her great deal of leadership and managerial experience with the required expertise that she has acquired over the years in the field of education, science, technology and innovation will be a great asset and added value to effectively discharge her duties assigned to the post. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, being a founding member of our prestigious institutions, OAU, AU, and hosting the institutions in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia has never got the opportunity to take part in a high position. Ethiopia has presented an eminently qualified full professor candidate endowed with rich experience in the portfolio as an instructor, researcher, publisher, leader, and creating networks. In closing, I would like to reiterate once again our request for the support of candidate Professor Hirut.
I have known Professor Hirut Woldemariam for quite a while now and had the opportunity to follow her professional career over the years. We had our first interaction while I was serving as the Vice President for Graduate Studies and Research of Addis Ababa University. She was then Department Head of Linguistics and Philology. At the time, she was one of the few female academic staff serving as head of department, and in that capacity, she contributed significantly to the special mission of the university, which was focusing on capacity building of emerging public universities, that is, training their junior staff at secondary and tertiary degree levels. Mindful of the potential in her, the university top management, in which I was a member, appointed her as an associate vice president for academic affairs. And later, she was promoted to vice president for international affairs. The young female then, who spearheaded capacity building of her department, seized the opportunity provided by the position she held to contribute towards the university's vision, aspiring to be one of the top 10 preeminent African graduate and research universities. Down the line, recognizing her leadership capacity, she was appointed by the government as Minister of Culture and Tourism. Here also, it is my understanding that she played a pivotal role in reforming the ministry. And today, it is one of the vibrant ministries in the country, outreaching not only locally, but also regionally and internationally. As an elected president of the Ethiopian Academy of Sciences, I had a number of opportunities to work with Professor Hirut Woldemariam. Climbing up the ladder in 2018, Professor Hirut Woldemariam was appointed as the Minister of a newly founded ministry, Minister of Science and Higher Education, responsible for science, higher education, and TVT. She led the establishment of the new university by mobilizing and galvanizing the human capital within the country and the diaspora. She led the reform of the universities she mentioned earlier, as well as public, as well as private, including TVT centers, which are over 1,600. Together with her ministry, the Ethiopian Academy of Sciences has worked and is working on critical issues like quality of higher education, responsible conduct of research, promoting science culture, setting laboratory standards, evaluation and accreditation of scientific journals, etc. Over the years, I have observed leadership qualities in Professor Hirut, and she impresses me the way I understand her, the way I know her, with the following attributes. A visionary and a strategic leader, passionately owning the vision of her organization and applying participatory leadership and all authoritative leadership to get it achieved. She delegates authority and responsibility as required. She's an effective communicator. She has the capacity for mobilizing and judiciously utilizing resources. She's respectful, grateful, and appreciates and rewards the contribution of others. She has the capacity to grasp new ideas and the desire to always learn, to listen to others, and keeps abreast with the development and is futuristic. She's motivated, self-confident, and has that mindset. It can be done. She's courageous, handled a number of challenges that I know, risks, and testing situations. She's strong and decisive, but also humble, as you can see from the portrait displayed. By bringing women like Professor Hirut Woldemariam to the forefront, we'll be able to see the African we want. I'm sure she will be elected, and I'm confident that Professor Hirut Woldemariam will move Scie, Continental Education Strategy for Africa, and STISTA 2024, Science, Technology, Innovation Strategy for Africa, a step forward. I wish Professor Hirut all success in her new endeavor, and you have my vote.
The 3 points that I want to make is first the Pan-African vision that she shared with us during the presentation. And this something that was reflected in the brochure that was prepared. When she was Minister of Culture, one of the things that she did was actually to start the idea of a museum for Adwa, for the victory of Adwa. We celebrate it every year. In fact, we're going to celebrate it in a few days' time. There's no monument. If somebody goes to Adwa and tries to find where the battle was, what mountain, which mountain is the main battleground, and so on, there's nothing. So she developed this idea, and with the Ethiopian Academy of Sciences, we actually went a long way in formulating a proposal, in designing even a museum with the help of the Architectural Association and so on. But because of the troubles in the north, it has not been implemented, but it will be implemented. I think the foundation has been laid, and maybe after the troubles are over, our magical Prime Minister will have a Gabatal Adwa, and we'll have all the funds. The second point I want to make is about the curriculum reform that she introduced at the Ministry of Science and Higher Education. Because this is a fundamental thing. Because what we have had in the past, we had this general education program for the freshmen, but for some reason it was abandoned, and what we had is really students who do not know anything about the country, do not know anything about other ethnic groups and so on. So most of the travels that we have had in Ethiopia has emanated from this narrow vision with which students come. They come, they go into accounting, management, and so on, so without getting the basic general education and the soft skills that she talked about. This is an important foundation, I think, to remain one of our major legacies for Ethiopian higher education. The third point is about the crisis of African higher education, which she wants to address. I think she's part of implementation of the very important recommendations, including action plans. So this is probably going to be your first task when you assume the office, as I hope you would. Finally, she has been first in so many respects, but I think one first that remains, that's to be the first Ethiopian to be AU commissioner. Ethiopia is not only a founding member, Ethiopia is a founder of the OAU. If it was not for Emperor Haile Selassie, the OAU would not have existed. So I think Ethiopia has given a lot to Africa. Africa owes something, at least, to Ethiopia, and that is to accept the candidature of Professor Robert.
Excellencies Ministers, Excellencies Ambassadors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm humbled and honored to get this opportunity today to share my vision for education, science, technology, innovation, Commission of African Union as Ethiopian candidate. I'm very much proud of myself. And tell you how I believe that my past life so far, my life journey so far, has already prepared me very well to fit very well to this particular portfolio. My fellow African diplomats, as you are well aware of, our Africa, which is the second largest continent in the planet, our Africa, which is covering about 1/5 of the total land surface of our Earth. Our Africa that has the largest, youngest population in the planet. And our Africa that holds geopolitically very strategic position in the globe. Our Africa, which is the origin of humankind and origin of ancient civilizations, doesn't deserve where the continent is today. It doesn't deserve, actually deserves a much better position globally. And African citizens deserve a better life quality than they have today. And I strongly believe that the Commission for Education, Science, Technology, Innovation is a key, critical, instrumental center to advance Africa, to lead our Africa to its destination, Africa we want. As it's clearly stated in the Agenda 2063 aspiration, the Africa we want, the prosperous Africa, peaceful Africa, integrated Africa, and globally influential Africa can be achieved only if we work on the next generation, on our youth, which is, as I said earlier, the largest population of the continent. How do we work? Through quality education, through Africa-relevant education, through Africa-relevant science, technology, innovation. So we have to foster and nurture technology and innovation that really solves African problem for Africans. We need a kind of technology that can improve our way of life. Now, most of the things that we're doing are manual. So it's manual. And our economy is, going up and down because it's not based on knowledge. It's not knowledge-based economy. It's not technology-based economy that we have. So it's not sustainable enough as the way it should be. So our education, science, technology should address this on only this. How do we do that? I have priority areas that I identified apart from the general vision. One is African universities and schools need to be revitalized, to be reformed. There is a need for huge reform. First of all, the ecosystem of education, science, technology, and innovation should involve all the relevant stakeholders, the private sector, the industry, the community, and the civil society. They should take part so that they can ensure the relevance of the education we have. And of course, digitization. Digital technology needs to be, should be natural skill in this time. COVID has given us a serious lesson that our kids had to stay at home, disconnected from their lessons, while the rest of the world was continuing education with online and other technology modalities. So we have to rethink this traditional way of teaching learning. It doesn't take us anywhere because lots of unpredictabilities in the future, man-made and nature-made, like COVID. So another important point, important agenda item that I would like to embark on if I get elected is inculcating Pan-Africanism. Inculcating Pan-Africanism. How? Schools and universities should be places for Pan-African values and ideals to be developed, for our kids to have Pan-African identities along the way. So it should be part of the curriculum, right from the elementary school. We should know who we are. We should know each other very well. And we should cherish our African values and identities. If we have to integrate as a continent, that's what is stated in the Agenda 2063's aspiration. And we need to have also strong Pan-African scholarship institutions in different parts of Africa, where we have a place for future African scientists, future African innovators, future African leaders with Pan-African modality can be created and produced for the best future of Africa. And harmonization of accreditation system across African universities is another serious issue that I would like to address. We need to harmonize the curriculum, the qualification standards, accreditation system, so that we can have student mobility across the continent and staff mobility across the continent. Professors, students can move from one corner of Africa to another freely and then continue their education wherever they are. Just like the European Union's Erasmus Mundus. The Erasmus Mundus program, students can move around any part of Europe and do his or her study. Start here and finish there and so on. So this will create a way for integrated Africa and for development of Pan-Africanism identity. And another important priority that I would like again to focus on would be establishing globally leading centers of excellence, research centers of excellence, especially on the comparative advantage of Africa, the areas where we Africans uniquely possess and have. So we need to have globally leading, not continentally, globally leading centers of excellence where scholars from the rest of the world can come and do research and develop knowledge and share knowledge and cherish Africa for that. Like, for example, we say we are origin of humankind. All the 7 billion of global population has emerged from here, from East Africa. But then we don't even have a single center of excellence in archaeology or paleontology. And we have cultural diversity, but so we have to look into what we have, our comparative advantage, and then build very strong, vibrant, globally leading centers of excellence. And forging equity is another thing that I would like to dwell on. Beyond rhetoric, we need to act on gender equity and equality, social equity. when I was a Minister of Science and Higher Education, I have initiated serious reform program. Of course, a number of initiatives. Among them, one was forging equity. In the higher education landscape, we used to have 100% male presidents, for all government universities, 100% men president. That's not fair, that's not right, something is wrong. Because our students are from, both boys and female. Our staff are both men and women. So I have initiated to amend the leadership recruitment directive of higher education in Ethiopia and reinforce it that every institution, every university needs to have at least 2 women in the top management system. And guess what now? We have 2 women presidents, Mekele and Dredawa, and closer to 30 women vice presidents on the landscape. Also students and researchers, scientists, female science, female researchers have also, increased from day to day because we've been doing a lot. And I have a track record experience of making a difference in that line. And of course, on the others that will come now. Why do I think that I'm the perfect fit for this position? And I have to say a few things on this. Well, I have to be bold. I'm sorry. I have been blessed to have collections of excellent qualities, experiences, practical experiences, qualifications, exposures that takes to lead, that can enable me to lead this commission. Talents. As His Excellency Ato Dammeka, Deputy Prime Minister, already mentioned it earlier, because he was my minister when I was at Addis Ababa University, Vice President. He was our minister. I think that connection helped me in a way to get a position up the government landscape as a minister, because he knew me very well. So I have spent my life so far breaking invisible glass ceilings and collecting firsts, so many firsts, number of firsts. In both the leadership line, in the scientific and research line, and in academic life and others as well. So I've spent a good part of my life at Addis Ababa University, the premier flagship institution, higher education institution of Ethiopia, the first and the biggest, the oldest institution. 25 years as teacher, instructor, researcher, leader, change maker. I practiced, exercised leadership right down from the smallest academic unit of the university, because I was the first woman department head of the Department of Linguistics and Philology. And then I was the first associate vice president, again pioneering as a woman for academic affairs. And then I was the first vice president in the history of 70-something years of this institution. I was the one who broke the ceiling. So I have a strong academic background in addition to this leadership, because I was teaching, advising, and publishing also as a scientist, as a researcher. I had a number of international research projects with NORAD, with SIDA, and DAD, and so on, and Alexander Humboldt. So I got the chance to publish over 35 peer-reviewed articles in the international journals and one book as well, while doing leadership, simultaneously, as it was said, multitasked woman. Being a mother and a wife, scientist and publishing, and leading a a vice president position. You have no idea what it means, the pressure, the burden, the stereotype. Yeah, but I'm a fearless woman, a bold woman. Yeah. So I made it to the top in both lines, in all lines, I can say. In the research, I said, because I published, I was promoted from lecturer to assistant professor, and then to associate. When I got promoted to associate professorship, there was a rule. It says if you produce double number of publications than required, you can get associate professor rank by half the duration of your service. Then I found out that I have already got them, and I applied, with acceleration modality. Got associate professorship, and then full professorship, the only and still one full professor woman in the area of social science and humanities. I did extensive field works, even the remote areas in Surma and Hirut, Kunama, places where people don't dare to go. I did field works, research, published, and so on. And I've been recognized by Ethiopian Science Academy as, duly recruited fellow of Ethiopian Science Academy. And I've been awarded by Alexander Humboldt, Germany, because I studied actually my PhD there, as a senior scientist award from Germany. It's very prestigious, actually. Excellencies, I need your support. I need you to vote for me. Of course, along the way, this recruitment process, as you know, it was very tough, very rigorous, lots of candidates, but I had to go through interviews, panels, group discussions, psychometric tests to get shortlisted. I'm the highest ranking female candidate for this portfolio.